Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. I stopped in at our local library today. I actually wanted to get this book that I had one time that has really awesome pictures of birds. I mean, like, really awesome pictures of birds. And it's by the same guy who did the video I've recently done on endangered species, where I looked through that book. But I couldn't find the book. But anyway, I was in the kind of large size book section, and I came across this, The Time Chart History of the World. And it says over 6,000 years of world history. So I just thought it might be kind of interesting to take a look at this book. So it says, Time Chart History of the World. And then they say, the time chart is based on original Victorian wall chart. So that's kind of important to know. Published in 1890. It follows the entire history of mankind and shows what was happening concurrently around the world with illustrations of many major events, discoveries, and prominent people. While maintaining the Victorian design, the chart has been updated and extended so that the time stream continues into the 21st century right up to present day. However, this was published in 2018, so not really. And then they talk about Professor Edward Hull, from 1829 to 1917. He was an eminent geologist born in Antrim, Northern Ireland. He studied at Trinity College, Dublin. By the way, I've been getting ads for this Trinity College. They apparently now have made it into, maybe it's still a college. I don't know. I just see the ads. And they show like you can rent rooms there. That seems interesting to me. It has gotten my curiosity up. I'm like, that could be fun to go stay in Dublin there. Let me know if you know anything about that. And then joined the staff of the Geological Survey. He remained with the survey for 40 years in Wales, England, and finally in Ireland. He was director from 1869 until his retirement. On retirement, Professor Hull set about reproducing the chart. Printed in 12 colors, it was first published in Great Britain in 1890 and updated in 1900. So here we have the beginning of the chart. And the way you read it says the timeline. There is a black wavy line, that's what this is, that helps the reader keep track of the passing years, running horizontally right through the chart. For quick reference, dates, so here are the dates, also appear at both the top and the bottom of the chart. Well, I see it at the bottom, I don't see it at the top. But maybe later we'll see it. Okay. Nation streams. Colored streams denote various powers. Okay, you see that more up here. So different streams are different nations. These appear, grow bolder, divide, and are absorbed by others as appropriate to historical context. Their colors alter to mark change in rule. Biblical history, and that seems to be an important part. It is from Victorian England, after all. At the beginning of the chart, narrow colored streamlines above the main timeline show the family tree from Adam to Moses, with Christ's genealogy shown immediately below the timeline. I don't quite know what they're saying, but we'll look at that. Centuries, big black century post divide the timeline into 100-year sections. So that's what these are, the posts for each 100 years. Okay. Political leaders, kings, queens, presidents, prime ministers are shown in the nation's streams. Okay. So anyway, I just thought it might be, I don't know, it just piqued my interest a little bit. I'd never seen this before. It is published in 2018 by Third Millennium Press Unlimited, Chippenham, UK. Let's see. Quartonose.com. So I don't know anything about the publishing companies, but I would imagine this would be used frequently for people who like to homeschool and have a Christian bent, because it is, I've noticed, very Christian centric. But what's pretty cool about it, I think, is it actually, I can't even show it to you. Let me move this out of here. It opens like this, and you can just keep opening. So you could like hang it on your wall and look at all the different time periods. That's kind of neat. And I almost feel like I had a teacher who had that. But I don't know. All right, so let's see. In the beginning, and they show the beginning with Adam and Eve, and here's Cain and Abel. So they don't show the 270 million years or whatever it is before this, where there's dinosaurs and the beginnings of life and everything. But they did say of mankind, so okay. Although here it's a little they say, in the beginning, creation to flood. Left, in the beginning, according to the Old Testament, God created heaven and earth and separated night from day. On the right here, God gave to Adam the task of naming the animals. What a fun job that would be. Below, Adam and Eve, here they are, as God intended, dwelling innocently in the Garden of Eden, until that evil Eve listened to a serpent, right, and gave Adam the fruit from the tree of good and evil. Is that right? It's been a minute, and it's basically he bit it, and then they had to be clothed, and they could. Anyway, kind of ruined everything. Below, after eating the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, Adam and Eve were expelled. Oh, here they are. The angels are going, get out of here. All right, so that's the beginnings. So when I worked at Red Lobster, back when I worked at a Red Lobster in Annapolis, Maryland, there was a young couple who worked with me, and they were going to college, and were taking I think it was like some kind of ancient history course or something. And they came in one day just all upset and gonna sue the school because the teacher didn't give them a good grade. It was the woman on a paper about her belief that they were homeschooled. And I'm not saying anything wrong with homeschooled, but sometimes science is lacking. And so her belief was that the dinosaurs lived concurrently with humans, and that modern day scientists buried bones of dinosaurs to prove dinosaurs' existence, but they were fake, and that there was a T-Rex on the ark, Noah's Ark. And while she told me all this, I was just looking at her like, what? What are we talking about? But I didn't say that because, I did. I probably did, actually. I don't remember. I know that I questioned her. I mean, friendly. But I thought it was interesting. I was like, I've never heard these theories. So as you can tell, that's not my beliefs. But we will look at this because it's interesting. All right, so we have Adam and Eve, and then here we have, it's kind of cool because if you're into the Bible and you know other stories, here's like Cain and Seth comes out along here. So it shows you sort of and then here's Cain and Abel. Abel ends there. Cain, Enoch, Ered, and then it goes up that way. So I don't know. I don't remember all my Bible stories, so I can't. I don't know. All right. So we go through, and it's working its way up, and you can watch the different timelines here until Noah. Here's Noah. Now, this guy, see, some of these people lived to be like 900 years old. Noah was 950 years old. And these ages kind of go along with my mom is also religious. And one time she was talking to me. I grew up very religious, just so we know, so we're clear, about the timeline. Because I was like, well, come on, it doesn't make sense. And she said, well, the days, like when they say God created, the clouds and whatever, that was day 1. Day 2 is minerals or whatever. Day 3 is plants. It's God time. So it's like a day is 200 million years or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's why these people were so long lived. So that's one interpretation. All right, early man before the flood. Man's early ancestors lived in caves, okay, which gave them shelter and protection from the weather and wild animals. They gathered fruits, nuts, and berries and hunted for food, cladded themselves in the skins of animals they killed, such as bear and mammoths. Their weapons and tools were initially of flint and stone, with wood to make spears, as they domesticated animals such as wolves to help them hunt. Here they are hunting. There is a book series that my grandma got me into when I was a little kid called The Clan of the Cave Bear. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. And there's a little girl in the story, and it's like the early humanoid and early Cro-Magnon or whatever, and they kind of meet up. It's all very fun. I remember that being a good read when I was like 12. Noah and the Deluge. God decides to destroy the wicked amongst humanity. He orders Noah, a righteous man, to build the ark. Ooh, I like this. And we're going to look for T-Rex on here. In the 2nd month of the year, Noah, his wife, his sons and their wives, and all the animals enter the ark. It takes 7 days for all the animals to board the ark. Rain lasts for 40 days and 40 nights. Water covers the earth. Water prevails for 150 days. The waters begin to recede. The ark comes to rest on Ararat. Noah sends out a raven after 40 days. The next day, Noah sends out a dove, which does not find dry land. After 7 days, Noah sends the dove out again. It returns with an olive leaf, a sign that the waters are receding. Several days later, Noah sends the dove out for a 3rd time, and it does not return. It has found dry land. So are we assuming that the raven found the dry land right off the first time? They're smart, those ravens. It takes 150 days for the water to subside completely. It takes another 70 days for the earth to completely dry. Noah and his sons build an altar to God and give thanks for their deliverance from the flood. God promises Noah that the flood will not return and forms a rainbow as a sign of his covenant. And here is Noah's Ark. Now, I take cruises, very similar. And if you are prone to any kind of seasickness, go for a lower deck on the ship, midship, and you'll get the least amount of motion when you're in rougher waters. I actually have a video about cruise ship travel or something like that where I talk about that. So I would pick right in here. see. We have, and actually, look, here's the kitchen and the diner. Oh, look, Noah's room's right. He picked the room I might pick. And Shem, Ham, Japheth. I can't remember. And then here's ravens, sparrows, chickadees, cockatoos, but sounds cuckoos, swallows. He has sparrows and swallows, quail, birds of paradise, an empty room. Maybe that's where T-Rex was. Bald eagle and eared owls. They got a big room there. Exotic birds, warblers, seagulls, falcons. So it's like all birds. Look at that. Partridge, pigeon. So this deck one's all birds. What's deck two? Straw for animals, grain for animals, winter fodder, hay. Okay, that's storage. Winter wheat, oats, pigeons, chickens. Good grief, more birds. Sheep, goats. What else do we have here? Baked and smoked meats, pears and apples, seeds and berries, rope, firewood, mechanical tools. All right. Up top we have buffalo and gruens. No, like goodness. J-N-U-S. I don't know that animal. Cistern. Badgers, porcupine, tortoises, cheetahs, wolves. Look at the wolf. They have the bald eagles in this huge room, and the wolves are in this tiny room. Lynxes, giraffes, panthers, tigers, retrievers. Look at that. Retrievers, greyhounds, purebreds, Maltese, and Indian dogs. I didn't even know they had all those breeds back then. Bears, lions, rhinos, reindeer, cattle, elephant, horses, bison, elk, asses. You gotta have some asses. Gazelles, onagers, cats, monkeys, rabbits, squirrels, Indian pigs, coonies, mongooses, otters, beavers, leopards. Well, there you go. Every animal known to man. All right, so then we have Noah. So where's the flood on this map? It must be on the next page, eh? Because once you have a flood, everybody else dies off, right? Let's see. Gotta go right here. Chronology of the flood. Here we go. So, the flood, the animals enter the ark. As the water recedes, Noah sends out a dove. No, we already read that. Wait, I'm a little confused. Hold on. Oh, I see. It's not just Noah because he has his family. So, Shem, Ham, and where's Noah? Who's this? Sons and daughters. All right, so here's the flood. So his line stops, But these two, well, here's Shem, Ham. Oh, yeah, they stop here. So this is where the flood is. Okay, so they stop before the flood. So we have the flood, and that kills off everybody except Noah and his 3 sons and their families. And so basically everybody in the world is an ancestor of Noah, right? According to this. The 7 wonders of the world. All right. The pyramids of Egypt, Babylon, the temple of Artemis at Ephesus. Of all the places I've been, I think Ephesus might be the most interesting place. It's incredible. Statue of Zeus, the mausoleum, the Colossus at Rhodes, Pharaohs at Alexandria. So there's the pyramid and Babylon. Did this get partially destroyed or something? Am I dreaming that? I don't know. The Temple of Artemis. This is Zeus, statue of Zeus. The mausoleum, the Colossus, and Pharaohs at Alexandria. That's cool. Tower of Jupiter Belus. Whoa. Okay. So now we have all these people. All these, what's the word I'm looking for? Not countries, but what's the word? Not cultures? No. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think. Anyway, all coming out of here. Now, how do they not come from Noah? Here we go. Noah the descendants of Noah disperse over the earth in about 2247 BC. Those of Shem are probably in Asia. Those of Ham are probably in Africa. And those of Japheth probably in Europe. The Tower of Babel, that's what this is. Seen and described by Herodotus. It was a quarter of a mile square at the base in 8 stories and rose 650 feet. That's always a fun, interesting story. And it's why everybody speaks different languages. That's the Bible story for why everybody speaks different languages. I'll have to do a separate video because I know the story, but I'm not positive and I don't want to screw it up. Let's see if this tells us. No, I don't think so. All right, life in ancient Egypt. All right. Egypt's 3 empires, the Old Empire, the Middle Empire, and the New Empire. And here's Pharaoh Ramses III, Queen Amenophis. It's a centaur, a mermaid, Poseidon, Zeus, Hera. And we have Egypt, we have Phoenicia, we have, oh boy, how do you say that? Chaldea, and Greece, and then China. All right. And then stuff starts getting more complicated. Here we have the Sphinx. And at the same time as that, you have Rebecca. Is Rebecca the one who had a baby when she was an old person? Is that Rebecca? I'm not sure. Egypt. Where's Greece? Where's Greece? Where's Greece? Okay, well, here's China and Italy. Let's see, and we're still in like Genesis area here, and then here's Exodus and Judges, Samuel. So it goes through the Bible and shows you what's happening. Beginning of the decline of Egypt. Art almost disappears and literature is wanting. Well, that seems subjective. But okay. Trojan War. Here's the Trojan War. And here's the Argonauts. Here's Ruth. Oh, Ruth. Okay, and then we have Solomon, King Solomon, the Psalms of David, which are, a lot of those are beautiful, right? Solomon and Sheba. What do we have down here? Homer. Okay, what the heck? We have this temple. I'm trying to just see here. Here's Greece and Rome. Here's the beginnings of Rome, right? The first Olympiad. Babylon. Alexander the Great. Socrates. Drinking the hemlock. Esther, please, with the king of the Jews. Esther was another book that is often left out of the Bible. Yeah. I can't remember all the details on that, but end of the 39 books of the Old Testament is here. Okay. So the end of the Old Testament is around the time of Plato, the Persian Empire. I don't know what else. The Chinese Wall. Is that the Great Wall or a different one? I don't know. Okay. And then we have pharaohs of Alexandria. And then here is the Roman government. We have Rome founded in 753 BC. Kingdom ended. Republic began. Tribunes of plebeians appointed. Civil war between Caesar and Pompey. At the end of the first triumvirate, Caesar defeated Pompey at Pharsalia. Caesar dictator for 10 years. Caesar killed in the Senate house. Octavius proclaimed emperor as Augustus Caesar. I just watched the Gladiator 2 movie. I thought it was entertaining. It didn't get very good reviews, but I found it entertaining. Okay, the Roman Republic. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh boy, I see a biggie here. Here we have Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, being crucified. The Christian era commenced January 1st in the middle of the 4th year of the 194th Olympiad, the 753rd year of the building of Rome, in 4714 of the Julian period. It is now held that Christ was born from 4 to 6 BC. I did a video on AD and BC if you're curious. So 4 to 6 BC. The era AD was invented by Dionysius Exiguus. I know how to say that, but my brain isn't. About 532. You're right. It was ordered to be used by bishops by the Council of Chelsea in 816. It was not generally used for several centuries. Charles III of Germany was the first who added in the year of our Lord to his reign in 879. So here we have the apostles, Peter, Paul, John the Baptist. All right, so then these are in the New Testament era. Well, the New Testament's written a little bit after, but all right, what do we have here? Pliny the Elder. Pliny the Elder came up with so many medical things that people today will still quote. And a lot of them are, cuckoo bananas. But he was doing his best with what he had, I'm sure. The Christian era begins in the 30th year of the reign of Augustus Caesar. The martyrdom of Paul. We have a volcano. Pompeii. Now, this is 100 years. So every time we're between two of these, we have 100 years. So they have the Arch of Titus, Hadrian's tomb. Where is, I feel like I'm missing something. Hold on, let's see. No, I don't know. Here's the New Testament. 27 books in one volume by 8 authors. Okay. Map of the world by Ptolemy. I don't know. And it shows Africa, Asia, and Europe, the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and I think that says Mediterranean Sea, but I can't quite read it. Saint George, the patron saint of England, a supposed prince of Cappadocia, and beheaded by Diocletian in 290 AD. what is this? First, how do you say it? Ecumenical Council at Nice called Constantine, Emperor of Rome, present. 318 bishops. Nicene Creed formed. Okay. The Nicene Creed in many Christian religions is sort of the basis of, I don't know how to say it. I'm not sure the exact, but it's kind of the basis of the church beliefs. And like, I went to Episcopal church. You say that every single Sunday. You say the Nicene Creed. And I could probably recite it by heart. One day maybe I'll bring the flyer. Like when you go to church, they give you a bulletin and it tells you what the service, but it's basically the same service every single week. They just change out the songs and the readings and the sermon. But otherwise, the service is the same. So we could just go over it for something to look at. I don't know if that's... Somebody actually said to me, next thing you know, when they got mad at me for doing politics. And they said I do religion. And that immediately made me go, yeah, I should do religion. I don't, if people can't hear somebody else's point of view, what are we doing? You know, what are we doing? Senator's wife spinning. What is that? Constantine's conversion by a vision of a luminous cross in the sky in 313. What does that have to do with senator's wife? I don't know. All right. Let's see. So now we're up another 100 years. Oh, we have the Saxons invade England. We have St. Patrick in Ireland. I can't quite read what that is. In Ephesus, a third council was condemned and deposed from his see. It's just a see. I don't know. Because he did not believe that Mary was mother of Jesus Christ as God, only as man. So he believed Mary was Jesus's mother. He just didn't believe that Jesus was God. But so they killed him. Let's see. The Romans leave Britain about 426 AD when the Picts and Scots invade from the north. The Saxons, being invited over to assist in expelling them, gradually take possession of the country, and the Saxon Heptarchy is formed and exists till Egbert forms the Kingdom of England in 827. The country called Britain, the people Britons. So this is the beginning of Britannia. Okay. So let's see. We have Wales. We have Ireland. We have Britain and the Saxons. We have the Angles, Northumbria, Essex, Wessex, Sussex, and Kent. All right. France and Germany. I've noticed there doesn't appear to be any Africa other than Egypt on this at all that I've seen. We have Norway, we have Spain, Italy, Eastern Empire. Oh, that's Greek. What is this? Persia. And down here is China. This little bit is China. There's no Japan or any of the other Asian countries. Yeah, I don't even see Egypt anymore. I guess where did we lose Egypt? Here's Greece, Athens, Macedonia, Rome, China. Here is Egypt. It goes to here, comes across here, and then it becomes Egypt. Right here it becomes part of the Roman Empire. Okay. All right. so what else do we have here? Feudal system existed from the 7th to the 11th century. All right. So we have Scotland, we have Constantine Gregory up in there. Saxon, we have Alfred the Great. We have Normandy, and then France, and then Italy. And out of nowhere starts up Margraves of Austria, and Prussia kind of starts up. What else do we have here? I can't read some of these. History uncertain. What does this turn into? Oh, Moscow. I guess that's Russia. Portugal, Aragon, Spain, Corsica, Sardinia, Naples, Western Empire, Persia, Egypt, India starts right here. And that's China still moving along down there. So what do we have pictures of? King Ethelred the Unready. He did have a name. The notoriously ill-advised English monarch reigned from 978 to 1016. I don't know the story. I'll have to look that one up. In 919, Ragnald, a Viking from Ireland, seizes York and becomes king of Northumbria. Here's a Viking longship. In 982, Eric the Red visits Greenland. Knighthood and chivalry existed from the 8th to the 15th century. King Harold II killed at the Battle of Hastings in 1066. Battle of Hastings, right. All right. So, in 1100, discovery of alcohol by distillation at Salerno, Italy. Okay. Also 1100, Adelred of Bath translates Euclid into Latin from Arabic. The First Crusades start in 1096, preached by Peter the Hermit in 1094. A red cross on the right shoulder. So there's the Crusades. King Richard I directing military operations from his sickbed. We have Thomas Becket murdered at Canterbury Cathedral. Leaning Tower of Pisa is built in 1150. So the Crusades. Let's see here. King Richard, where are you? Here's William. King Richard. Henry. Was he? I thought he was one of these two right here. Nope. Oh well. Crusades. What year did they say? 1096. Oh, here's Richard right here. So he's Normandy. And then the Saxons. Okay. We're over here. Richard, is he Richard the Lion-Hearted? Or, because there's the good. I don't know my kings. Here's William the Conqueror. Now, I don't know how people feel about him, but I think my family tree can be directly traced to William the Conqueror. Like, I can actually go all the way back to there. That's crazy. All right, let's keep going. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have, in 1256, the pillory was established by law by Henry III, abolished in 1837. That's a long time. The last who suffered at the Old Bailey was Peter James Bossy in June of 1830. It looks like a little kid on there. That's the thing where they put your head and hands through. Edward I defeated and slew Prince Llewellyn and subdued Wales in 1282. He made his eldest son Prince of Wales, a title which the eldest son has borne ever since. Here's Windsor Castle. The residence of the British sovereigns was begun by William the Conqueror and enlarged by Henry I. Was mostly taken down and re-erected by Edward III in 1356. Spectacles are invented. Cannons. Religious procession in response to the horrors of the Black Death. Yeah, that wasn't good for people. Wycliffe's Bible. It existed only in, I can't read that, MS, for many years. The NT was not printed until 1731. The first printing by Gutenberg about 1440. That's the Gutenberg Bible. Here's Joan of Arc, burnt. Oh, God. May 31st, 1431. Joan of Arc. I think in Paris. I haven't ever been to Paris, but you can go to like where they held her before they took her to burn her at the stake. It'll probably be interesting. Tobacco found at Saint Domingo, 1492. Columbus crossed the ocean in the Santa Maria and discovered San Salvador, October 12th, 1492, and the main continent in 1498. But it was 109 years thereafter before the first settlement was made in Jamestown, Virginia. Here's the microscope. William Shakespeare. Where's Shakespeare in... They only give us the names of like the royalty. But so Shakespeare was sort of concurrent with Columbus. Let's see, 1492 to 1498. Shakespeare was 1590s to 16. So he's like 100 years after Columbus, right? I think that's right. Okay. Here we have King James Version of the Holy Bible. And here's Galileo, astronomer, improved the telescope in 1610 and thermometer in 1600. And Galileo found so much, informed so much. This was a time of vast leaps in science. But some of the things he said didn't agree with the Catholic Church. I'm pretty sure I'm remembering this right. So they put him in the Tower of London or something like that. I don't know, some dungeon kind of thing. And told him to change his point of view. Here's Sir Isaac Newton, discovered the law of gravitational pull. And then the first newspapers, the Gazette de France, the Public Intelligencer in England, the Boston Newsletter in Boston, and the first newspaper in Germany. And what a difference that really made for people who they couldn't get information really from, except word of mouth. And now you had actually places you could go find stuff out. Ben Franklin discovers the identity of lightning and electricity. The identity. In 1752, lightning rods used soon after. It's hard to read. Montgolfier demonstrated a hot air balloon in France in 1783. And James Watt discovered the power of steam in 1750. I mean, you know how they talk about, like from the time I was a kid in the 70s, we didn't have a VHS tape, you know what I mean? To now you can watch anything, anywhere, anytime. But back then, there was a lot of progress being made in, 100 years to. Okay, what else do we have here? This is starting to look too complicated to look at. We'll just look at the beginning. So we have the American Revolution in the 1774. British troops scaling the heights of Abraham before winning the Battle of Quebec and taking Canada from the French in 1759. This was the year of victories for the British. Minden, Lagos Bay, Quiberon Bay, and the capture of Madras. In 1774 to 1783, American Revolution. 13 colonies in North America revolt against British rule and establish the United States of America. Boston Tea Party on December 16th, my birthday, 1773. Declaration of Rights in October of 74. Battles of Lexington, Bunker Hill, Saratoga, Yorktown. General George Washington, first president, 1789. And here it says, Sir Alexander Mackenzie was a Scot who grew up to become a Canadian hero. A fur trader and explorer, Mackenzie became the first European north of Mexico to reach the Pacific Ocean on an overland route. And I've never heard of him. Interesting. So that is happening here. And we have Napoleon. And George the Third, George the Fourth, while we have Madison, Monroe, and Adams. So during Jefferson's rule, you have George the Third, so that's in, the musical Jefferson, and Napoleon, and Louis, Alexander, Pope Pius. And then, let's see, Jackson, Van Buren, and they have Queen Victoria for a long time. She goes all the way from Van Buren up to McKinley. Oh, here's Napoleon. Wait a minute. French Revolution. Monarchy overthrown 1792. And French Republic declared war with much of Europe ensues. Napoleon Bonaparte wins battles in Italy, Egypt, and Germany. Emperor Napoleon I, 1804. Napoleonic Wars to 1815. Okay. And then so then we have this Napoleon. Victoria marries Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg in 1851 and proclaims power of British industry and commerce. Napoleon III is the nephew of the great Napoleon. President of Second Republic. Paris greatly reconstructed by Baron Haussmann. Okay, so Victoria married Albert, and then Albert died, right? And then she mourned him for the rest of her life. Isn't that the Victoria story? And then we get into sort of more, I'd say modern era, right? We have Roosevelt. Let's go up to I'm not going to go totally modern because I don't want to hear Eisenhower, Johnson, here's Kennedy, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan. So I was born in the Nixon presidency, and Queen Elizabeth had already been queen for 50, 60, 20 years when I was born. What are they showing here? British decolonization in Africa and elsewhere. After British Prime Minister Macmillan's Winds of Change speech in 1960. So because it used to be the British Empire, anywhere the sun touches, there something, But then they decolonized a lot, I guess. So here's where they decolonized. Okay. Oh yeah, there's Tony Blair. I remember him. And wait, we just skipped right over World War II, didn't we? And are these black things the wars? Yeah, they don't say that. That's got to be what the black is. 1914 to 1918, First World War. German invasion of Belgium and France, 1914. Gallipoli landing, 1915. Battle of Jutland, 1916. Tanks used in 1916. Unrestricted submarine warfare, aircraft used in war. So that's the First World War. And then the Second World War, which, wasn't even 20 years later, was it? Well, I guess it was. 1918 to, it was like 21 years, right? German invasion of Poland, 1939. Of Denmark, Norway, Belgium, and France in 1940. Battle of Britain, 1940. Invasion of Russia, 1941. Holocaust, mass murder of Jews, Gypsies, and others by Nazis. Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, 1941. Battles of Guadalcanal and Almaine, 1942. Battle of Stalingrad, 1942 and 3. Atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, 1945. This freaking reinvention of Nazis right now is pissing me off. It's really making me mad. I mean, look, I know, like, well, whatever with the Biden-Trump thing, but nobody elected Elon Musk, and he's going around doing, I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I don't trust it. I don't trust the richest man in the world having that much power, and his Nazi sleuths and crap, thinking he's funny. I don't think it's funny. I don't like it at all. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, so we go through to all this. All right, I won't go into all this, but so then we have history through the ages. Oh, they have the space age, information age, age of mass media, rise of robots, Renaissance Crusades, Byzantine era. And then they have all the different countries and about their leaders. And I do feel there's a leaning to this book, having kind of flipped through some of this. Just you might want to be aware of. So, yeah, here we go. Brazil, Mexico. What countries do they have? India, United States, Great Britain, Spain, Italy, Germany, France, Canada, Poland, Scandinavia, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, with Finland and Iceland and Brazil. How's Brazil end up here? It's not like, aren't they alphabetical or no? So, there we go. But look, by the end, we have all these countries being shown. In the beginning, we hardly had any. And now there's all these. All right, well, thanks for watching. They have the United States, United Kingdom. What does that say? Higher. South Africa, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Africa, Nigeria, France, Algeria, Tunisia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Switzerland, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Belgium, Netherlands, Indonesia, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Haval, Hungary, former Yugoslavia, Austria, Germany, Poland, Russian Federation, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Portugal, Brazil, Angola, I think it says Cordoso, Argentina, Chile, Mexico, Uruguay. Can't read that. Venezuela. I struggle with that. Cuba, Philippines, Spain, Italy, Vatican, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, Egypt, Libya, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Iran, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, China, North Korea, South Korea, Japan. So a lot more countries towards the end. They have all the dynasties from China. United States of America. It's mostly the different presidents. Great Britain. We have all the different monarchs. Ending with Elizabeth because at the time of printing she was still alive. Australia. Oh, New Zealand. They talk about resisting the British by the native people. Here's Spain, Italy. Here's Germany and Austria. There's that damn Nazi. There's France and Canada. Poland, Russia, Scandinavia, and Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. I would like to go like somewhere and look at these. I think they have, well, I don't know if they have their real boats or recreations of these long boats. I think that would be neat to see how those like looked and worked and stuff. I'd like to go to that part of the world. I want to go to all parts of the world now. I don't think there's anywhere I wouldn't want to go. Well, I don't know. I hate to say it, but there's some countries where women aren't treated, equally. I would feel nervous, I think, when